Hi there, and welcome to Canceling COVID. I'm Tanya Riven. So good to see you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for hopping on as we continue to keep you informed and keep you educated about what's happening in our community. I know we made a lot of progress and we're doing really, really well, especially when it comes to what's happening with COVID. But it's not over yet, folks. I have to just keep reminding myself and want to remind you we have to stay informed, stay educated, and make sure we're on top of what's happening. I really appreciate some of the banners that have been shared with me by Atrium Health as one of their ambassadors. I'll share that with you in just a moment. I want to start by thanking our sponsors, Mecklenburg County Public Health, mecnc.gov, 980-314-9400, 980-314-9400. We're so grateful for all that they do and provide for us. Also, Groundwater Solutions, groundwater-solutions.org, groundwater-solutions.org, 704-596-0505. And just to update you on a couple of things, I talked about the progress that we have made. The latest released by the state of North Carolina, let's talk about that. How many new cases have been reported? Around 2,000 of with the Omicron variant. And how many hospitalized? Close to 2,300. And I'm speaking only for the state of North Carolina. And the total deaths that we've had as a result of COVID, over 22,000. We're still losing some lives, and a big part of that are people who are not vaccinated. We're going to check in on a couple of things. I do want to update the mask mandate, which is really the big news. It was decided by our Board of County Commissioners that on the 26th, that the mask mandate in Mecklenburg County is going to be lifted. So for anyone that is concerned or trying to decide what you're going to do, it's an individual preference, and you can still mask. As a matter of fact, our Mecklenburg County Public Health Director, Dr. Raynard Washington, he's still recommending masking. Now, Governor Cooper also announced that he's encouraging schools across the state to to drop their mask mandates, and that's something that's also quite interesting because our children are all in, these little close headquarters, and that mask mandate was put into effect last summer. I have some really special guests here that we're going to talk about, but I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I was going to talk to our first guest about the Great Resignation, but now that I have Dr. Black on, if it's okay with you, for my second guest, I'll go ahead and bring her on since we're talking medical language right now. I'll go ahead and get her to share kind of what they are dealing with, kind of an update, all things community, talking about Dr. Tracia Black with Groundwater Solutions. First of all, good morning, sis. How are you? And thanks for joining us as always.
Good morning. Good morning, beautiful.
Oh, you're such a beautiful sight to me as well. I always appreciate you. So, you've heard some of the information I just shared. And I even mentioned, we're still losing some lives. Dr. Washington here in Mecklenburg County, he's recommending masking. Governor Cooper, and I get it, there's a lot of noise, a lot of chatter on both sides. So, he's encouraging the schools to go ahead and drop the mask mandates. But I wanted to talk to you about, what is going on now that there's a possible subvariant or another variant out there.
Mhm.
And I read, right now, there's not a whole lot of concern about it. But can you speak on that a little bit?
Well, the new variant, it's called the stealth Omicron variant. It's
Okay.
a subset of the Omicron variant. And so we are anticipating that we're going to start seeing that. As you all probably know, you see the testing lines that were here in January have drastically slowed. So the
Right.
spread of COVID over the last 3-4 weeks has really been very slow. Most of the labs across the country have gotten caught up. Everybody went through a tough time in January,
Right.
as did we. And but everybody's pretty caught up now. Most of us have really taken a good look at how our laboratory processes work. At our laboratory, the Genesis Project Laboratory, we have switched over to a new reagent, a new assay, which are the chemicals that we use to process tests. So
Uh-huh.
it's reduced our testing time from about 3 to 4 hours to about 1 to 2 hours for a batch of specimens. We've also gone totally automated, where we have a QR code. You scan the code, and it takes you right to your own registration page. So we don't have to, the data entry was a nightmare for us as a small laboratory. So now we're fully automated with a quicker testing process. So I've seen that and talked to colleagues that that's really what's happening, because we know that with Omicron, the spread was so rapid.
Right.
We
It
are
was very
expecting
quick.
it was very quick and it was very extreme. So if you were in a room with someone who had the Omicron variant, it was very likely that you were going to pick up the virus. We
Right.
are expecting that the stealth Omicron is going to be even more contagious
Oh,
than
wow.
the original Omicron variant. And we do anticipate that it will come sometime during the month of March. So I'm just recommending with everyone to be prepared and just be safe.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned the month of March, which is starts next week, actually. So February's gone. So then, as you're sharing that information, saying to myself, then why am I reading? Well, right now it's not that big of a concern. It's always like we're reacting and not being proactive.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
need to anticipate that it's coming. We know that
okay,
it's coming. We see it in other parts of the world, so we anticipate. And it trickles down to us, so it will come. The other part is what you talked about with the mask mandates. We
okay,
anticipate in our field that very shortly we're going to see every state lift the mask mandate.
okay.
Um, the governors around the country, they're in the position where they're trying to get their states back on track,
Right,
and
right.
and believe that at this point, the dangerous effects of COVID have passed us. The large numbers of people who are becoming critically ill has passed us, so that the
Okay.
variants may come, but we may not see the serious illnesses. And so when they look at the disgruntled folks with the mask versus the risk of COVID, they'd rather appease the community than really do what's ultimately safest for us and not inconvenience us. That's their goal.
And hopefully too, we're better prepared. Each
Mhm,
round we get better and better. As I listen to you talk about some of the
mhm.
changes you all done and using the QR codes, and hopefully this round we've learned from the last round, and so you've improved on a lot of things. So that's great news. Now I wanted to type again the new variant. It's called the Omicron Stealth.
Well, stealth Omicron or Omicron B2 are
Okay,
the two different names that you'll see out there.
okay, or stealth, or STEALTH. I'm assuming is how
Correct.
you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the next one that we need to be prepared for. And hopefully people will take notice and just make sure that we're doing what we need to do to protect ourselves. Groundwater Solutions out and about in the community always. Is there any information, any additional information that you can share where you guys are out today?
We are testing at our office today,
Okay.
and some smaller facilities that are not open sites. So if you do need testing or vaccination, you can
Uh-huh.
contact our office. Tanya gave you the number earlier. It's 704-596-0505. We're also on the other end, non-COVID related, but we are have lots of different other wellness types programs, including mental health services. We're launching some programs around different communities in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as 6 other communities around the state. We're taking our mobile unit that had specifically been used for COVID-19 and launching all healthcare services in rural communities around North Carolina, as well as in the Mecklenburg County community. What we're seeing, whole different topic, but substance abuse, addiction and substance abuse, and all the different issues related to that. Because of
Uh-huh.
COVID-19, behavioral health has really taken a toll. I hear you talk about mental wellness a lot, Tanya,
Right.
but we're now in the aftermath of the pandemic. The pandemic is
Uh-huh.
still happening, but all these other major issues are the fallout.
Yeah. And there's so much to address. That's a really large onion that we're going to have to peel back weekly to try to touch on these topics. But again, I so appreciate all that you all continue to do. So grateful for the partnership. You've always been there for me and you continue to be there. And I just appreciate you. Again, Dr. Tricia Black, Groundwater Solutions. Any questions, information, all of the community support right at Groundwater Solutions, groundwater-solutions.org. 704-596-0505. Thank you so much for taking
Can
the
I
time.
make one more plug?
Absolutely.
Okay, we are hiring at
Oh,
Genesis
wow.
Project and Groundwater Solutions. We are
Okay.
in need of community health workers, peer support specialists. Peer support specialists are individuals with lived experience in any kind of behavioral health issue, depression, anxiety, which most of us have experienced at some times in our lives,
Uh-huh.
other significant disorders, addictions. We are hiring folks who are in recovery, who have a desire to come out and help people. We are also hiring care managers. We're hiring for many different positions. So if you're looking and you want to give back to this community, you want to serve people, we would be happy to connect with you.
And that's a great segue to where we're heading now. So again, they can reach out to you again at 704-596-0505. Dr. Tricia Black, thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time to talk
you.
with us.
Bye bye.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see you next week. As we continue this conversation, that was a great segue because we're talking about the Great Resignation. We got to talk about this labor market and just continue to have this conversation. I was looking at some of the information online as we were talking about what's going on with the unemployed, and everybody's hiring. You see for hire, you're seeing all of these people when you go out for service. They're so short of staff, and sometimes you feel like, I've got a friend that owns a restaurant. I'm a small business owner, but I don't have retail, and I'm offered more than once. Hey, do you want me to come and help you? And you're like, probably realizing that's really not what I do, but I'll do whatever I can to help, because it bothers me to see him struggle so much with what he's dealing with. And they're saying, the number of people that are losing their jobs, it's still leaving their jobs. It is still on on the uptick. And I'm sure there are a lot of factors that weigh into that. But what I want to do is bring in someone who's very knowledgeable and can share all this information with us and help you to understand what they are calling the Great Resignation. I'm talking about Cassandra Elaine Whitlow. First of all, good afternoon, good morning, that is, and thank you for joining us.
That's right. Good morning, Tanya. So glad to be here with you.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow-up, and thank you for coming through. I know you've been
Yes,
speaking on this topic quite a bit, and I
yes.
consider you an expert. I am a little surprised, though. I was surprised to see that people are still leaving their jobs. And the thing about it is, the question is probably where it's going. So let's start with, why are people leaving?
Well, this is truly the time of the great resignation. People are leaving their jobs left and right because they are frustrated. They
Yeah.
are, they want more from their work. So people are leaving because they want their next promotion. And a lot of times the companies where people are working, they're not promoting from within, so they leave. They get their promotion, they're going for higher pay, they're going for more perks,
Wow.
um, tuition reimbursement, and some companies been taken away, so they're wanting that to better their career life, so they're leaving for something as simple as that. In essence, they're looking for better benefits, and they just want just to upgrade their life.
And you can't fault anybody for that. And I mentioned my friend
Mm-mm.
who owns a business and needs help. And I've said to him more than once, you need to change your business model. And he
Yes.
does. He doesn't get it. He's going to have to change his
Mm.
business model. And that also includes, providing a more pay for the basic salary and all those
Yeah.
things. And hopefully he'll eventually figure it out. But, who are these people leaving? Because people have obligations. So who are the ones that are leaving these jobs? They're like walking away, say, I quit.
So once again, it is the people who are frustrated. Companies who aren't treating their peoples well, they're losing them. Left and
Uh-huh.
right. They're getting pink slip. 2-week notices all over the place. People who are fed up with their bosses. The bad manager
Uh-huh.
syndrome. Can't It doesn't fly in this time, day and time, if you will.
Uh-huh.
People who are overworked, who are underpaid. I think of folks like teachers. A lot
Okay.
of times these teachers they're changing careers, and they're saying now is the time. People who are in retail, salespeople, they're realizing, okay, I'm doing a lot and I'm giving a lot for the least amount of pay. Because when you're in those fields, it's kind of around the clock, work.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a lot of commitment, overworked
Mhm.
and underpaid. I think you already said that. And then just in looking, I saw where a lot of people, when we had all this time to sit at home, it probably was a good opportunity to say, you know what, I might as well take this leap of faith and start and do something I love. And then there's been some assistance out there. Don't ask me about how easy it's been to get, because it hasn't been for a true business
Yeah,
owner.
yeah.
But I would think that all probably came into play as well.
It did. It did. A lot of people took that time to really do some self assessment
Uh-huh.
And to kind of look inward and say, what do I really want to do? My job has sat me home for a month or more,
Right.
and I'm getting paid in some cases, and the people who were unemployed, they were getting the heavy, a lot of money from the government,
Yeah.
to sit out and kind of think it out. So, and I think they came back with a plan. When the doors opened, they were like, okay, this is what
Yeah.
I want. This is not it, and I'm leaving.
Well, that's
And,
good. I mean, power to the people is what I say
yeah,
about that.
it
But let's
really
talk
is.
about, yeah, what about the jobs? What are the most popular jobs right now?
So some of the most popular jobs are in IT. IT
Okay.
has been up and coming for decades, and now is truly the time because you have these IT schools, who are giving 4 to 6 week courses. Once you
Mhm.
graduate, you get 50,000 or more, and people are like,
Really?
"Wow, I'm making half of that." So yes, I'm going to leave.
Uh-huh.
So IT is one. Real estate is another. So real estate, a lot of people, are changing their careers and saying, I want to, work my own hours. I want
Yeah.
to kind of have my own thing going on. So they're going into real estate, which is slightly sales, in essence.
Right, right.
Healthcare, the healthcare field, as your previous guest, shared that she's hiring right now.
Right, right.
So it's a big field, and they're well paid. So a lot of people are leaving to go there too.
And as you listed those names, there's always been those professions. There's always been professions that you feel like, okay, you got longevity. These are professions, with the exception of maybe real estate, which is determined by the market. The rest will
Mhm.
be around for a while.
Oh
So
yes.
that's really encouraging as well. IT and healthcare is not a bad step
Yeah.
for stepping
Oh
out on
no,
faith because yeah.
that's true,
So
and
so
and they're highly compensated for it too.
So if anyone's listening, listen up. You're trying to ponder or decide what you're going to do. Don't. One of the things I do say is don't stay anywhere where you're not happy. There's no price
Yeah.
for peace, and if you're not happy with your job, now it sounds like it's a great time to either demand more to get your peace and happiness, or move on to the
Yeah.
next. So
That's
let's
true.
talk about though. We're talking about this great resignation, and everybody sees it happening around us. What are employers trying to do? I mean, are they not trying to take any steps to keep the employees that they have? Because surely it's more expensive to retrain, and the
Mhm.
turnover, affects the bottom line.
Yes. Oh, you're absolutely right, Tanya. Um, so there are some companies out there who really are not changing their model,
Really?
and they're just saying, you know what, you know, however it happens is how it's going to happen, and that is very unfortunate. But there are the large majority of companies, they are realizing our people are leaving, our seasoned employees are leaving. What's
Mhm.
going on? So they're doing surveys, they're finding out people want more pay for the job they're doing. So a lot of are doing equity type pay, so they're saying, okay, are we really paying to market standard for
Mhm.
for our employees? So they're increasing pay. Some are increasing their benefits, adding tuition reimbursement back um, into the to the mix. You have those who are doing wellness programs. They're actually putting money towards wellness programs. Okay, we'll pay for your gym memberships. We'll pay for, just different perks. So they're giving
Yeah.
perks to their people, which is, adding to loyalty. I would also say recognizing diversity, equity, and inclusion. A lot
That's
of
really
companies
good.
are kind of putting that to the forefront now, and a lot of their diverse employees are saying, wow, okay, I see this is happening, and I really, I really appreciate that they're valuing me now. So they're staying. So yeah, so there are some efforts being made by companies to keep their people.
Well, I haven't seen a whole lot lately, but I did see where there was also the opportunity, where some bonuses were being paid, like a sign-on bonus, but you would have to work for the first 90 days.
Yes, yes. So to retain people, they're doing large sign-on bonuses. I think Pizza Hut had like a $2,500.
What?
Please don't quote me on this, but I mean they have like a $2,500 sign-on bonus. one of these fast food places, and I was like, wow. I mean, McDonald's, I think they're going up to $20 an hour in some states. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is what young entry level new professionals make. $20 to $25 an hour. So yeah, they're really reaching outside of the box to attract talent. So the people who are already there, they're kind of beefing up what they have, and to attract talent, they're doing the sign-on bonuses. They're doing relocation. If people live in different states and they need to be in the office, they're paying for relocation packages, which can be very expensive, especially if you own a home and moving to another state. So, but they're willing to do that. They're starting to look at retired veterans, coming back to work. They're loosening um, their criminal background checks. Instead of going for an entire lifetime, they're going back 7 or 10 years. Because
Yeah.
if somebody's been an upstanding citizen for so many years, they're willing to take them on. So I'm hearing all of these things, taking place now.
And that's encouraging because especially when you just hit a nerve, the whole criminal background thing. If
Yeah.
someone's been able to show that they've turned their life around and we all
Yes.
deserve another chance, then why
Yeah.
not? Could end up being your model employee.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
kudos to employers for that. I did see you mentioned Pizza Hut. I think Domino's is giving people an opportunity to own the franchise if they
Mm,
start, and then they'll give them
wow.
opportunity. They got like a fast track or some type of special
That's
program
good.
where they can have their own franchise. So that's a great opportunity there as well.
Hmm.
So the great resignation is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As we wrap things up, any additional information or any insight that you would like to share to kind of could just keep us informed about what's happening with the labor market?
Yes, yes. I would say to employees or workers to really evaluate and see if you should put in that 2 week notice and leave for another job
Yeah, yeah.
opportunity. Make sure you're ready. I just did a segment with a different talk show about the 5 things you need to consider before leaving or calling it quits with your current job. So just make sure you have those things, in place. If you want to hear quickly what they are.
Absolutely. You
Uh,
don't have to rush. Yeah, someone's sitting there going, five
okay,
things. Yeah, we need to know
so
what they are.
so the 5 things are just basically ask yourself these questions or think about. So one is, why am I leaving my job? So you want to make sure you're being honest with yourself and asking yourself, why am I leaving? Are you
Hmm.
running away from something or running towards something better? The second is, am I emotionally ready? You want to know if you're emotionally ready. If you're leaving one job to go to another one, you don't want to have negative emotions and feelings going into that new opportunity. And if you can't
Hmm.
be excited and enthusiastic about your next role, then you probably need to stay where you're at. The third is get another perspective. A lot of times we make these decisions, we don't get another perspective. Ask friends, families, career coach, and just, hey, what does this look like to you? This new opportunity I'm thinking about, and get another perspective on it. Four is now the right time for
Yeah,
a new job or an opportunity. Timing is everything, and if
it
you're
sure
not,
is.
if life demands are great outside of work, or if you have family commitments that are pretty high outside of work, then you may want to wait 6 months or a year down the line. And lastly is, am I financially ready if things don't work out? So a lot
Mm,
of times, we wish for the best, but the best doesn't always happen, and things, shift. And we need to know, okay, am I financially ready? Because it might be a month or 2 or 3 before we find the next job or before the business gets up and running. So you just want to ask yourself those questions. So that's for the employee or the worker. For the companies, treat your employees well. Because if
yeah,
you don't, they will leave. And then,
yeah.
as you see, nowadays, 2 week notices are happening in droves. I mean, they're happening in record numbers. And now is the time to appreciate, to keep them employed.
Well, that's some good information, Miss Cassandra Whitlow, and great. I love how when you were talking about for especially the employees, if you're going to give that 2 week notice, those 5 questions, and the one big is financially, are you going to be stable?
Yes,
Do you have that capital built up to fall back on if things don't go right? And I say all the time, timing is everything.
yes, yes.
Always, yeah.
one other thing is my
Uh-huh.
website is cassandrawhitlow.com,
Okay.
cassandrawhitlow.com. There's more information there. I have a book called Survival Guide for the Unemployed that's on amazon.com, or you can get it on my website. So I'm a career coach, been doing this for well over 15 years. Have coached thousands of candidates, hundreds of hiring managers, so I know what they're looking for. I can get you prepped, and so yeah, those are some other things to think about.
Well, we are so grateful that you took the time to stop and talk with us about the Great Resignation. Again,
Yeah,
Cassandra Whitlow, and your website, cassandrawhitlow.com.
yeah.
Please check her out and invest in her book as well. And it's a great resource for anyone looking up or
Mhm.
considering changing jobs right now. Looks like a
Yeah.
lot of people are doing that. So thank you again. Is there anything else you would like to share before I let you go?
Just now is the time. If you're looking for something new, assess yourself and take the leap of faith. It's always a good thing if you're ready for it.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate you taking the time to talk
Thank
with
you,
us.
Connie, for having me.
Absolutely. So some great information again. We've got the Great Resignation going on, and that's a great resource for you. Information that you can use. That's what we try and do is keep you informed, keep you up to date, and most importantly, try to provide resources that you can turn to when you need to get the information that is needed. One of the things that I also wanted to make sure Dr. Black added in about the Great Resignation. I'm so grateful for her. She believes people want to do something they enjoy and gives them purpose, and she's spot on with that. So again, if you're in a position where you're not getting any type of fulfillment, you're not happy. Like I say it all the time, there's no price on peace. If you're not happy and you're not feeling like you're in your purpose, looks like now might be a really good time for you to consider being a part of the Great Resignation. And Cassandra Whitlow is a great resource again for someone that needs the information. She's a career coach and she has her book, and she's like, I can help prepare you. But also keep in mind the factors that she shared. So our time is running out. I just want to share a couple of things that is really, really important from Atrium Health that is shared with me. One of them is, as I make sure I add them, you feel. Now, I was putting that information up because we sometimes lose focus, and I know we're getting comfortable again. And who would be happier than I don't think anybody is happy as I am, or I'm just as happy as the next person. Let me put it like that because we're all tired, we're all frustrated, but it's not over yet. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're going to do is keep you informed as you continue to support us and come on and check us out and pass along the information and share the conversation. Shout out to my good friends in Statesville who continue to share on Facebook. I'm so grateful for them because that means that just gets us in front of more people and they have an opportunity to know what we're doing here is providing real talk, real solutions, and bringing on experts to help make you aware and informed about what's happening because it's not over yet, folks. It is over though for today as we are now 2 minutes out. I just want to again say thank you to Mecklenburg County Public Health. MECNC.gov 980-314-9400. We're so grateful for your support of canceling COVID. Mecklenburg County Public Health, MECNC.gov 980-314-9400. And Groundwater Solutions, groundwater-solutions.org, 704-596-0505. And last week we had the conversation. I'll keep reminding you, especially if you're looking to find out the impact of COVID and how it has impacted our community. A great study provided assessing the impact of COVID-19 on low-income households and communities right here in our state. And I had Nick on last week from Charlotte Area Fund that talked about it. But this is also a great resource as we continue to navigate and work through this thing called COVID, because the impact is going to be, seems like everlasting, but certainly to a certain degree, it is going to take a while as we continue to deal with this. So, guys, it's time for me to move out of the way. As always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. I appreciate you for supporting Canceling COVID. I see you hopping on, even though you're not dropping your comments. I appreciate your support. Please share. We're always grateful for the information that we're able to provide. Looks like a little cloudy out in the city today, but make sure you get out and make it a great day. I certainly appreciate you. I'll see you and hear you or listen for you, that is, on this Saturday. Sounds of Inspiration on Praise 100.9 FM. Tune in at 10 a.m. That's 100.9 on the dial or praisecharlotte.com. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for supporting Canceling COVID. I'm Tanya Rivens, and we'll see you back on next week.